Back to the channel. All right, well, if you're new to the channel, this is called Crawlspace Encounters. I get up underneath the houses and I do home inspections, see how things are looking. But these are all about mainly crawlspace homes, and just the videos I post will kind of blow your mind. But this house I'm actually going to right now, I was here last year and it was pretty unbelievable. This homeowner actually had the crawl space fully encapsulated. It was absolutely beautiful at one time. He did hire some contractors to do a bunch of work underneath the house, some support units, and they just made a mess of things. So it's been a full year. I'm out here now and he wants me to kind of take a look at some things and see if anything has changed, but he doesn't really think anything's changed. He can't crawl down there, so this isn't a bad crawl space, but bear with me. Well, let's take a dive and take a look. All right, well, here's our crawl space door. This is actually really nice. I like what he did here. So you can see the grading was pretty high. And then this is obviously the crawl space. You can see one of the vents right there in your crawl space door. And what he did is he just carved this whole area out. Put a little drainage system in here. It's pretty cool. Oh boy. So yeah, this was the cover. This is a little flap. All right, this looks exactly how it looked when I was here last time. So look, this was absolutely beautiful. I mean, when they first laid down this plastic, it was just a sea of white, gorgeous, so clean. So there's a well here with no sump pump. So what's happening is instead of putting a well, a pump, a real drainage system in here, French drain, all they did was this. So you can see all this. This is all dried up water. So all this time that this water is having to dry, you can hear the dehumidifier running over there. Now that dehumidifier, last time I checked, was covered in absolute debris. They must have brought down, well, I know for a fact they brought down all their the saw, all kinds of equipment to cut wood and all that. Yeah, so he's taking out way too much water down here. So there's no French drain underneath this encapsulation. So every time it rains, that water is finding its way onto the poly, and that's the low spot right there. And that's just resting there. So that's not good. Let's keep going. I know this gets a little shallow up here. But you can see how all the water, that's the top of the hill right up there. Let me see if I can get some more light. There we go. That's the top of the hill. There's our dehumidifier and an HVAC system. It feels extremely warm down here. I don't think that dehumidifier is working properly. It's still pretty early in the morning. It was running already when I opened up that crawlspace door. Not quite the hottest time of the year. Yeah, that machine is running pretty heavy. But we're gonna check it out. Well, here's a sensor on the floor. It's reading 67% humidity, 74 degrees. 67% humidity is a little high right now. The humidity levels should not be high like that at this time, for sure. So what they did was, actually they did a bunch of work over there. We'll get to there in a second. They didn't cover the dehumidifier. They just left this puppy running while they were cutting up all kinds of stuff. And look at that filter. That filter is nasty. You see all the debris in there. This machine sucked up all that debris. I don't know if you ever had your house painted and all that, and you know, when they sand all the walls down, they gotta seal off all the vents for your air conditioning system, just so that your system doesn't suck all that in. But they didn't do that here. So last time I came, I went ahead and took a bunch of video and showed them what was going on. And he said he talked with them and they pretty much gave him the runaround. See this right here? This was all sawdust. It's all sawdust. And I get it, you want to bring your sawdust, your saw down here and your wood. Try to make it easier to kind of work. If you are going to do that and a crawl space is fully encapsulated, might want to just seal off an area. Look at this is all sawdust. Seal off an area where you're going to work, just out of respect to, you know, the work they did in the crawl space, the encapsulation. So what they did here was he hired a company to sister a bunch of members, and I actually told them they didn't do a very good job sistering the members either. I'm going to explain to you why. But I'm going to have to get over here a little bit closer because this portion of the crawl space gets very low. Alright. So you can see they cut this joist right here. They cut it back. Whew, look at that dust. God bless. They cut that joist back. And when they sistered it with this one right here, they should put another bearing point right here. There has to be a support unit running from this side all the way to that side. Because when you cut a joist and you sister it, now you have to create a new bearing, new load spot. That is actually code here in this town. And that's actually the way to do it. Or you can run it from one side all the way to the other side, from bearing point to bearing point, and you'll be fine. But they didn't do that. What they did was an absolute mess down here. They just made a mess. A lot of folks just pay me to come into the crawl space to just look for them, see how contractors did. You know, not so much critique, you know, the quality or brands, or just to kind of make sure that they did what they were supposed to do. cleaned up after themselves. You can see all this dust. All this dust right here gets sucked right up into this machine. Even finds its way into the house. And even into my nose and lungs right now. All for the sake of YouTube video. But you know what? No, I'm showing you guys as well what's going on here. Gotta do what we gotta do. This condensation pump. A lot of sludge in there. Not good. You know, Santa Fe Advance 2 was a good model. It's a larger unit. Not bad. Excuse me. Just gotta do the maintenance. Just gotta fix it. You know, it has to get fixed. I would remove, God, I would cut this liner all out, at least just the bottom portion of it. Replace it. I don't know what all that funk is. Goodness. Clean up some of that insulation. This, in all reality, if this house is the typical house that I do for inspection reasons, for sales, or refinances, they would have to cut this poly back, install an interior French drain system, put a well and a sump pump down there, put back the new ground cover. That dehumidifier is going to have to be replaced. You're talking some money here. You're going to replace it back with this poly right here. Looks like a 20 mil poly. Oof. French drain for the size of this crawl space. The poly, dehumidifier. You're going back to square one, man. You're talking $15,000, $17,000. That's not even saying how much it's going to cost to actually build a load bearing point over there where they cut those joists back. That's not good. You know, I'm sure the HVAC system is sucking up all this too. Always, you know, if you can't get in the crawl space, see if you can have somebody get down there and check things out for you. I've got zero quarrels with contractors. I worked with contractors down in Florida. You know, home inspectors down there really held us at a high standard just because we got inspected all the time. And they sure loved red tagging us. Red tag is when you fail at doing something. You basically have to read the blueprints. And if you miss something that a blueprint says, you're going to get red tagged. If something says it needs 3 nails and you put 2, that's wrong. An engineer approves prints based on the workmanship. We don't have a lot of contractors here, aren't used to constantly people checking up after them. Not all, guys, not all. I've met some really good ones, but for the most part, no. Like what I just showed you, that's not acceptable. Anyway, I'm gonna show this video to the homeowner, kind of let them know that the contractor did nothing about it, and hopefully they make right, they fix this, and you know, they can go about their way. But thank you guys so much. Check out my other videos. Just a ton of material out there. Don't forget that hit that like and subscribe. You you can hit that notification bell, but I'm constantly putting videos, so if you don't want to keep getting bothered by notification bells, that's okay by me, because I have notification bells and some people I follow and they post a lot of videos, and but for the most part, check them out. If you live on a slab house, basement home, crawl space, and either A, you live on a crawl space home, there's things down here that you should be aware of. If you're planning on buying one, just keep an eye on it. See, make sure you have an inspector that knows what they're doing. Don't completely rely on your realtor to hire an inspector of their choice, because they won't take things as serious as somebody who does not have any connections with anybody. They're just going to be nonpartisan with most of this. But anyway, folks, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.